Welcome to episode 30 of Rebirth Revolution. My name is Melissa Olson. Here we are, another week of the pandemic, another week of social distancing or living in quarantine. It's only been 3 weeks since I saw my people, but it feels like 6 months. Time is very strange in our current world. It is my wiring to try to find the positive in all that life throws my way. This tendency is good, bad, and annoying for others. I truly believe that everything that occurs contains what we need to move forward and to move to a higher level. We label events as good or bad, but in reality, everything that happens is both. Events that we think are wonderful always produce unintended consequences, and what is viewed by some as wonderful can be at the expense of others for whom the event is painful or destructive. There are no absolutes. So here we are, all of us forced to stop our regular lives and go back into our homes where we must live with whatever that means 24 hours a day. If your life and your relationships are in healthy order, then you can enjoy the break from real life, making new memories that will last a lifetime. If things aren't great at home, there will be no escaping that fact. If what is broken cannot be repaired, many relationships will not survive the forced containment. That's okay. The rebirth is happening at a global level, but it is also the right time for it to happen on a personal level. We don't want to have a shiny new world in which you are personally miserable. We are moving into a better world, one where we will no longer continue to shield our eyes and hearts from the reality of our chosen connections. If you have small children, you may be getting a look at what others have been trying to tell you about your child. Let that revelation move you into a phase of healing what is not working. If you have a partner who you are miserable with, this is the perfect time to try to fix that or to figure out how to leave the situation once the doors are open again. These scenarios may not sound like positives, but they are. It may seem like bad on top of bad, but it means that you have the opportunity to go through a tough time that will produce something much better on the other side. Low-grade misery for the rest of your life is not an option. We don't want to simply endure whatever our life is. We want to bring our biggest, bravest self into the light and move to the highest levels we can without being held back by that which we cannot change. I hope that this time of life, being reset, gives you the time to truly figure out what you want for your life. I hope you understand that creating the life you want will serve not only you, but everyone collectively. There are many different life events that produce resets, like illness, divorce, job loss, the death of a loved one. Most everyone has experienced a reset, but rarely do we all experience a reset at the same time. The power of a universal reset cannot be overlooked. It has the power to change the entire game. While it may seem that it is too much chaos and misery at one time, it is also a time when we are more capable of understanding what everyone is going through, thereby being more capable of supporting one another. We are also more apt to find solutions that serve all instead of just doing what it takes to get us personally back on track. This reset is pulling forward everything that is dark. That's always hard to look at. It will also, for many people, result in major losses. Loved ones will leave here. Life will become insecure in any number of ways. The problem with spiritual belief systems that tell us that everything is wonderful is that we have eyes and hearts. We can see that just isn't the case. Life is full of conditions that break our hearts. But we will move forward even if our hearts are broken, because that is what this school is about. That is the human experience. Your time in this school is about moving gracefully from the dark into the light. If only light existed, there would be no choices to make, nothing to learn, no reason to be here. The move into the light doesn't always feel graceful. We stub our toes, we trip over others, we slam our shoulder into the door frame. That's the problem with the dark. You can't see your surroundings, but you can always see the light from another room. The most powerful position you can take is to recognize the existence of the darkness, understand that it is here to trip us up and keep us from seeing. Once we embrace that as a universal truth, we can inch our way towards the light. This reset makes everything look stupid. It's wild how quickly our minds can adjust. Every advertisement looks stupid and meaningless. The notion that we can buy products that fix this brings to light the fact that none of the things we have bought, thinking they would fix something, ever did that. Some haven't figured that out yet, and it's weird the way it's played out. Many people have decided that owning a case of toilet paper is the greatest form of security they can achieve right now. Who would have seen that coming? This time that we're sharing, a time that is perfectly designed to make us rethink what really matters to us, will hopefully change us at a fundamental level. Maybe this time is to let us refocus on the things that really matter to us so we can live a simpler, more purposeful life on the other side. In this time, we aren't thinking that a better job, a fancier car, or a more sculpted body is going to fix what needs to be fixed. None of that matters right now. When it all boils down to the real nitty-gritty, we want our people to be okay. We want to stay in the game. The rest of it, rightfully, becomes meaningless. Only our people and the love we share with them matter. The rest is window dressing. We want our people to live. We want to live. And that's it. We aren't building in conditions to any of that. We aren't praying that we be able to survive this pandemic as long as our stock market portfolios have not decreased in value. We are praying that we be lucky enough to survive, and if we do, we will sort out the money on the other side. There are no conditions attached. This is an essential place of surrender and humility. If we can just stay there, we will be fine. We will have the perspective we need to grow forward. As painful as it is to get to this place, it is the greatest thing that can happen. If this reset does nothing else, it's already been a huge success. If you can bring into the rebirth this fundamental belief, then we can create a new world that is based on love and compassion. We can't carry into the new world toxic belief systems that put things ahead of people. We can't worship money, status, and power and create a beautiful new world. Turns out that pathogens do not bow down to money, status, or power. As the saying goes, nature bats last. Nature does not care how much money, status, or power we have. Nature will play out according to the laws of the system. We have the power and intelligence to be able to make it either worse or better, but nature bats last. It will have the final say. We are already seeing this in not only pathogens, but also climate change and the devastating results that brings. Nature is also trying to get it through our thick skulls that the rules and the outcomes do not respect any boundaries we have artificially constructed, as in saying, this is one country and that is a different country. The rules don't change, and the effects will not be contained within any borders we construct. It is all one school. We are all working within the same system. The only thing that changes is how smart, honest, and honorable the leaders of each country happen to be. The problems that will challenge us in the future will be global. The solutions need to be found there, too. The other night, I crawled into bed and reveled in the fact that everything, in that moment, was perfect. The room was the right temperature, the fan was lightly rotating. I had applied my special sleep lotion, scented with the essential oils that help me sleep deeply. I laid my head on my cool silk pillowcase and covered myself with my down comforter. It felt like I was in a cloud. It was sublime, and the thrill I felt was all-consuming. A few nights prior to that, there was a great old movie on TCM, which I enjoyed along with my favorite margarita from a local Mexican restaurant. It felt magical and luxurious. After a day of living in this version of reality, it is sometimes necessary to time travel. At those times, Turner Classic Movies is a wonderful portal. I bet you have had those wonderful moments in your days and nights that you may not have even noticed. These moments happen even during a pandemic. As important as it is that we pay attention to all the darkness we don't want to carry into the new world, it is equally important that we carry forth those experiences that we do want to carry forward. We can't be overwhelmed by the difficult to the point that we don't see the miraculous. Some of the dark things we are seeing are people not caring that they put others at risk. Some of these people travel to gather in large groups and then take the virus back to where they came from. We see billionaires who tell the employees who generate their billions that they are not entitled to sick pay should they contract the virus while doing their work. In fact, they are told they can give their sick time to their fellow employees while the owner makes $9 million an hour off their labor. Turns out we can't count on billionaires to take care of those who made their millions. We've seen wealthy people who have contributed to the cause, but the amount they contribute in their stratosphere would be the equivalent of me contributing the spare change that is in the center console of my car. We've seen employers knowingly put their workers at risk of contracting the virus. We've seen politicians knowingly lie about what is happening. We've seen people hoard necessary supplies, some even trying to resell them to turn a profit. We've seen employers quickly dump their employees, terminating both their income and health insurance through emails or automated phone calls. We've seen politicians who are privy to sensitive information lie about what is going on, so they will have the time to dump their stocks before their constituents find out the truth and try to sell their stock, which, is then worth much, much less. We've seen people attacked on the street because their ethnicity makes ignorant, manipulated people see them as possibly the source of the virus. We've seen cowardice and greed and ugly fear-based behaviors in the world around us. But we have also seen the best of human nature on display. We see people who are doing the right thing by foregoing what normally would bring them joy in an effort to keep others safe. We have seen people who work to ensure that others have food and safety. We have seen people sharing what they can. We have those on the front lines who put their lives in peril to tend to people they don't even know. We've seen good employers move heaven and earth to make it possible for their employees to work from home, keeping both their income and insurance intact. We've seen teachers figure out how to teach their students electronically, offering not only knowledge, but concern, caring, and continuity. We've seen parents stepping up and making the best of being stuck inside with children whose energy is impossible to contain. We've seen employees of essential businesses working extra long hours, facing possible exposure to the virus, just to make sure their customers have what they need. Isn't it interesting that the most essential people in our world have been revealed to be those who are at the lower ends of the pay scale? It is the labor of those who get our online orders to us, those who stock the grocery shelves, those who will try to heal us, even though it risks their lives, that keep this thing afloat. We need to remember this moving forward and adjust accordingly. We've also seen so many people create content and community through social media that educates, entertains, and exercises our bodies. The dance classes are a magnificent way to move, feel joy, and connect with others. We found a new way of connecting that I suspect will continue to be important moving forward. Our world is going to look different. It will never go back to exactly what it was before. That's the good news. We will move into the new world with more grounded concepts of what matters. It turns out the ability to hug people is of much greater value than we may have realized. Turns out just sitting with people to talk, to share a meal or a cup of coffee with no fear of consequences is something that our souls crave. We will rediscover parts of our humanity that have been minimized by the pursuit of meaningless conquests like power, money, and status. We're going to get through this, and we're going to take note of everything that we want to take with us and everything we want to leave behind. There are many things that deserve to be relegated to the category of pre-pandemic. This is our work here. We are here to sort through it all, giving support to that which we want moving forward and putting a stop to that which does not belong in the new world. But that's a lot. So make sure you have moments that are purely about joy. Thanks for listening to Rebirth Revolution. I hope it helps. Let us know if we can answer a question or address a concern. Please pass along this podcast to everyone you think may need it. They can get the podcast everywhere podcasts exist or on YouTube. Thanks for your help. One source of joy that I'd like to pass along this week is the show Schitt's Creek. If you haven't seen it, I'm jealous of you. The final series episode is next week, and that breaks my heart. It amazes me how the show is wrapping up with the exact message that we need to hear in this exact moment. You can find Schitt's Creek on Pop, and I think it's on Netflix and Hulu. It's silly and fun, but the arc of each character over the course of the series is simply magnificent. Until next week, sort what you hear and see into either the keep or trash pile. Cultivate joy in your life. Be gentle with yourself and others. And nap when possible. Remember, you are loved exactly as much as every other person on the planet, not 1 ounce more or 1 ounce less. Stay strong, and most of all, stay safe.